Hey guys, it's Infamous Gaming, the most well-known YouTuber you've never heard of. Welcome to the first episode of Infamous News. Here on Infamous News, I like to cover all the gaming news that's happened recently and discuss it every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Central. Our first topic is an interesting one. We have been hearing a lot about the next-gen systems, and with devs speaking out about it and Microsoft being fully open about the existence of the Xbox Scarlet, even Sony is speaking out about the PS5. It's a pretty exciting time to be a gamer. And it seems like we have another dev speaking out about next-gen. This comes to us from TechRadar, who recently played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and while they were there, they asked Scott Phillips, the head game director for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, what they can expect from the PS5 and Xbox Scarlet versions of the further installments for the Assassin's Creed series. Scott Phillips had this to say: "Well, I think you can look at what Yvette Guillemot said in terms of streaming being the future and more people given access to these kind of games because they don't have to buy one console to play the game on. In terms of opportunities, creatively, obviously, improving things like AI, believability of the world, credibility and interactivity, how much you can push and pull the world and how it reacts to you, as well as we can keep the game alive and active for players, because the idea of having an extended lifetime and extended playtime for the game where you finish and you don't necessarily have to throw it away are where Assassin's Creed could continue to the progress in the future." Now this makes a lot of sense from a Ubisoft game developer. We know that this is where they're heading. We know Ubisoft is heading towards this streaming era. Heck, they even have Assassin's Creed Odyssey running on the Nintendo Switch already, so this isn't really a surprise. Same with most of his comment. It's not really a surprise that they're gonna be wanting to extend the playtime of players on the Assassin's Creed game. It happened with a lot of the past Assassin's Creed, and it's happening with Assassin's Creed Odyssey too. I would expect to hear something from the next gen in the next E3, whether that be through the devs or an actual announcement with a name and date. We're closing in on the next gen, and if not next E3, it'll most likely and definitely be the E3 after that. An end to the PS4 and Xbox One generation and on to the next one. It's a pretty exciting time. And in our next topic, we have Lawbreakers. Remember Lawbreakers, the game that was supposed to be the next Overwatch and was definitely being compared to Overwatch like every game that was similar to Overwatch in any way, shape, or form. But then it was released and the player count dropped extremely quick to the point where they barely have enough players to find a match. In a tweet on Twitter, we got the news that the server for Lawbreakers is shutting down with no plans on bringing them back up. The tweet reads as this: "Lawbreakers servers are officially closed for good. Hardest development and the best game I ever shipped. If you played it, thank you." I never got the chance to try Lawbreakers, but from the gameplay it looked pretty fun, but when it was released it got a lot of hate and the player base just dropped off. They really should have made it free to play when they saw that the player base was dropping off and their game was doing extremely bad, but they didn't, and that could have saved the game. If it went free to play, it definitely could have saved Lawbreakers, but the fact that they chose to ignore that option is what killed the game. In our next topic, we have the Xbox One and Assassin's Creed Odyssey download size, which is around 45 gigabytes on the Xbox One. Now this isn't really a surprise because if you look at the other open world games, the Witcher 3s and Spider-Man PS4 and all those kind of open world games, it's pretty much around the same size, 40 to 65 gigabytes on launch. That's excluding DLC and expansion packs and all that kind of junk. And in our last topic, the Nintendo Switch Online player base for Nintendo Switch Online is extremely mad. The big one is that cloud saves will only be saved for 30 days after your subscription runs out. And if you want to keep those saves, you have to fork over some money. Granted, it's not a lot of money, but it's still money nonetheless. Now, if I'm being 100% honest, this is a pretty shitty thing to do to your player base. Why is it a month? At least 3 months or even 2 months would be fine. Sony and Xbox One lets you keep saves for much longer than that on their cloud storage, so why not Nintendo? The Nintendo Online service, while it has some good things, it has a lot of bad things, and it's pissing off the player base. The dumb phone app, no voice chat, no party chat. When you can clearly use voice chat on Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch, it seems that Nintendo doesn't want you to use native voice chat on the system, and I don't know why. With Nintendo, there's always a giant step forward and 2 steps back. Nintendo, we need these saves on all these games. We need voice chat. We need all these things that the other system has. All you have to do is is look at Xbox One and Sony and borrow from that. It's as simple as that. It's already there for you to take. Just take it and put it to the Nintendo Switch. That's all you have to do, and the player base would be extremely happy. And look, if Nintendo really wants this app on their system and you to use it, just have it as an optional thing. You shouldn't force something on your player base if the reaction to it is negative. It's not good for you, it's not good for the player base, it's just all around not good for your company. So why are you keep doing this? I just don't understand. Alright guys, that's it for this episode of Infamous News. If you enjoyed this episode of Infamous News, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern Central.